We've been painting up a lot of Red Corsairs recently and living in my Chaos Space Marine era, and as a result I feel like I've left behind my first love, my original faction, the Black Templars, and they've been really neglected. So today I thought it'd be really fun to give them some love and revisit them. So what I've got here is actually the Company Heroes sprue. It came in the Christmas box I got last year and I've not really known what to do with it because they're just a bit meh. But I've had a really good idea. I thought I could turn the Captain from this guy into a Black Templar Marshal. The mini itself is pretty similar. He's kind of like tilted with like a sword in the air, and I've got absolutely loads of bits left over in these two combat patrols. So let's rip these boxes apart, find some usable pieces, and turn the Company Heroes Captain into a Black Templar Marshal. Alright, and here they are, the Company Heroes sprue and build instructions, and you can see what I meant in the intro. The Captain dude is very similar to the Black Templar Marshal. So he's got like a melee weapon up in the air, a gun to the side, and like a flowing cloak. And this dude's pretty much the same. Like, look at that, plasma pistol, sword, flowing cloak. Just got some extra Black Templar heraldry, but I've got a few pieces, I say a few actually, I've got 2 combat patrols worth of bits left over, like some sprues here with random like Templar shoulder pads that we're going to look through to try and spruce the Captain dude up. But the first thing I need to do and want to do is just build the body just to see what we're working with. So we start off, we've got this section here, just the body and the legs and some shin pads. And then that way, we've got the frame, and then we can start switching out things like, yeah, like this gun and this sword. We'll probably try and look for, oh, actually, he's got a plasma pistol option, so maybe we can just use that. Oh, well, the whole point is we'll get to this point, and then once it comes to like doing all the other extra bits, we'll look through all the sprues and see what we can find. Now that the body is all built, the first thing to do is find something to go on this little tabard. I want to find a lantern that matches the actual Black Templar Marshal. So I went over to the Crusader sprue and found this little thing here. And yeah, it lines up absolutely perfect. Nice little lantern for his tabard. I just slapped a little bit of glue down, got our tweezers out because this thing is absolutely tiny and trying to fit it in that slot was a nightmare. After that, it was time to move on to the weapons. So the Captain comes with a sword and plasma pistol, which matches the Marshal, what he has. But I kind of want to make him a little bit Black Templar-y because their weapons are covered in chains. So I found this arm and sword, absolutely perfect. Got a nice chain around the wrist. Not sure if they were meant for each other, but we slapped some glue down and forced them in together anyway. I think they might have come from the Sword Brethren squad, one of the things from the combat patrols. The only issue with it though is it wasn't kind of sitting right. It was kind of a bit too leaning forward. The Marshal is very up in the air and like rallying the troops. So we just slotted a little bit of millar putt in there just to extend the arm out and raise it up a little bit. And we scraped away the excess and left behind this little bit of a mess that we're going to have to sort with later. After the sword, it was time for the plasma pistol, and I looked everywhere for a hand with a plasma pistol, an arm with a chain that matched up, and I could not find one. So I decided to make my own. Went back to the original sprue, cut out the plasma pistol and hand that came with the Captain, stubbed a little bit of glue down and built it up, and then I busted out this Green Stuff World model chains that I bought ages ago. They were literally like £2–3 and I ended up never using them. So I thought we could wrap this around the hand of the plasma pistol and the gun itself and make our own little Black Templar chained up plasma pistol. So I just clipped off a little bit of it, wrapped it all around the hand, and then dropped a whole bunch of super glue in place just to hold it where it is. And last but not least, we just needed to find some shoulder pads and a head. So I grabbed these 2 shoulder pads from the Black Templar upgrade sprue, some big chunky thick ones that came with the first combat patrol, slapped some glue down and dropped them into place, and unfortunately it doesn't cover up the sculpting, so we still need to deal with that later. And then as for the head, there was actually 2 left on the Marshal sprue, so I just clipped out the one I liked, dropped a little bit of glue in, put the head into place, and we were good to go. And here he is, our Black Templar Marshal, kitbashed from the Company Heroes Captain, and I think he's really good, you know, very, very reminiscent of the actual Black Templar Marshal. Got that same sort of sword in the air pose, plasma pistol down by the side, half of the tabard on the bottom. That's one thing I couldn't mimic, was the upper half tabard, which is really annoying because that's my favourite thing about the Templars, but it is what it is. Then I guess one minor thing is this guy's cape is a little bit more full, the actual Black Templar, and the shoulder pad is a bit different. This gun's round, whereas this is a cool fancy flat one. But other than that, really, really spot on. I'm really happy with it. Got his Black Templar weapons with the chains, even the one we've custom put on ourselves, an actual Black Templar head as well, and the shoulder pads. Yeah, really, really good. But the plan now is to paint him up. I'm quite excited. I'm actually buzzing now that I've seen how cool he looks. I'm really keen to not only paint him because he looks good, but also, like we mentioned, I've not painted a Black Templar in a while, so I'm keen to get stuck back into to my boys, my favourite faction. So I'm going to prime this boy up outside, probably in grey. Yeah, probably just in a grey, and then we can come back, start putting Abaddon Black over all the armour panels and putting on some highlights and getting on to the fun bit. So that's the first round of highlights. We've just done Dark Reaper on everything. I tried to make it a little bit chonky so that when we put the next round, which will be Thunderhawk Blue, that can be quite fine, and then hopefully that gets a nice dynamic. But first though, I did want to try out something. So I've been glazing a lot recently and I've really been enjoying it. And I've noticed that people use it for highlighting. So like glazing up layers of, I guess this would be Dark Reaper, Thunderhawk, and a little bit of Rust Grey on rounded surfaces to make some cool light. And I've just looked at this guy's knee, and literally every time I'm like highlighting, I don't know if you can see down here, the light is reflecting on it and making it brighter, like the actual, my painting light up here. So I'm like, actually, we could use that to our advantage and maybe try out on this dude for the first time, glazing some sort of highlights over that knee to kind of mimic the actual real light that's hitting it. So I'm just going to try it on this knee, because it's not something I've done really before. That way if it's bad, we can just go over it, it's fine. So I've just got some Dark Reaper. I'm going to try and build up some really thin layers. I mean, that's literally translucent, which is exactly what we want. Just try and build up some layers of Dark Reaper across this front of his knee, because for the first layer we can go quite down deep. And then yeah, when we come to highlighting the next one, which will be Thunderhawk Blue, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to sort of try and glaze over some Thunderhawk Blue over this round area and see what it looks like. Okay, yeah, that knee is terrible. That has really not come out well. So I think definitely something I want to try again in the future, but maybe actually put some proper focus into it, watch a full tutorial, maybe even do like a whole video on like glazing Space Marine armor or something. Because yeah, just picking it up on a whim and giving it a bash, while it's fun, I definitely recommend always just giving something a try. Maybe I needed a little bit more prep for that, because it's not come out well at all. Like, look at that, it's terrible. I mean, to be fair, actually, like, the idea is there, that gradient of Dark Reaper into Fenrisian, and then, no, Dark Reaper, Thunderhawk, Fenrisian. That whole idea is there, it's just, I don't know, executed not too well. But I did, like I said, just kind of jump in head first. I didn't even look at like a tutorial or a guide or anything. So what I'll probably do is just cover it up with some black paint, just fix it back up, and then come back later, not in this mini, maybe in like another video or another model, and see if we can actually focus on glazing Space Marine armor a little bit better and doing some highlights that way. Might make a cool video. I guess let me know in the comments if there's something you'd be keen to see, or if you know any cool videos, tutorials or guides for it. That'd be really helpful. But we're just finishing up the last round of highlights, doing a little bit of Fenrisian Grey across some of the most prominent sections, like this little bit here, the corners. I guess we've done up here already. Have I done that kneecap? Yeah, I've done the 2 kneecaps. Just making some of those real prominent areas pop. I am happy with the edge highlighting. It's quite good, although some of it is a little bit too thick on some sections. So what I might do when I tidy up that glazing on the knee with Abaddon Black is also go around, maybe try and dial back some of these highlights, because they are good, they're just a little bit in your face, a little bit prominent, maybe a little bit too bright. Right, I'm just putting the last couple bolts on him, just a nice little silver dots, which I find either come out really, really nice and clean, or if they're messy, they're super splurgy and awful. So we need to be really delicate. So I don't know why I started talking before doing this. There we go, I think that's all of them. Then again, this is almost like whack-a-mole, where I forget and find out there's one's hidden. Like I mentioned, the edge highlighting is a touch excessive, but it was kind of similar when I did my Catar Garrix, the Red Corsair character. I felt the same about this guy. I thought it was a little bit over the top, and I still think it kind of is. Actually, he seems a little bit more dialed back, just because he hasn't got the fancy stuff around the knees and the thighs. I think that's sort of where it's going crazy on this dude, is around this sort of section here. But I think similar to Catar Garrix, once we fill in all the other details, it will kind of sort of dial back some of the highlights, or kind of make them more fade into the bigger picture, if you will. So, if it's not incredibly obvious, I am absolutely obsessed with glazing at the minute. It's the one main skill I kind of want to focus on, something I'm really enjoying doing, and I just want to get better at it in general. So we're going to try and spam it as much as possible with this mini, and probably my future minis going forward, which is exactly what we're doing now. So I've made a nice glaze of Zandri Dust. I'm just going to try and build up some layers on this tabard, constantly applying loads of really, really thin layers over the raised sections. It's probably down here as well. Yeah, hopefully this will go a little bit better than the knee. We did obviously fix that up. It's all nice and black and plain now, like it never happened. But I'm a little bit more optimistic with this because it's like just one colour on a big flat surface. So let's see if we can sort of make these raised sections a little bit brighter and leave the recesses quite dark. There we go, there's some of the glazing or like layering on that tabard. It's not looking too bad, you know, a little bit smooth, not too like stark. I'm quite happy with it, you know, definitely something to work on and a good starting point. Yeah, really keen to improve our glazing. It'd be really nice to have like a real smooth transition here. But happy with that. Love the beads down the front as well, the sort of red and silver, really, really cool. Very like Crusader, Templar, iconography type vibe. I like that a lot. And then the golds are just looking cool in general. Cool, so I'm just putting on the yellow on the lantern. I've just done an undercoat of white. Oh, there's still some Imperial Fist on my brush. Oh, I mean, it's alright, it's not going to go in anyway. But I mean, yeah, to jump ahead. So what I've done is I painted the base white, so hopefully this contrast that sits on top will glow through a little bit. And then we put some Lahmian Medium down just to kind of diffuse the paint a little bit. And then some Imperial Fist on top, just to make this sort of like nice bright yellow glow. I always want to try and go really hard on these lanterns and make them look good because they're such like an iconic, like kind of big centerpiece. I have no idea what to do with them. They're so hard when they're just a big flat surface like this. I say big, it's small actually is the problem. If it was a big lantern, I feel like I could get into the recesses, put some highlights of yellows and reds. But this is just, yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare. So if anyone's got any tips on what to do with these lanterns, I would very much appreciate it. Sweet, so we've just put a base layer on the cloak, just done Rakarth Flesh. I don't really like my cloaks to be sort of nice and bright and white and almost superhero-esque. I kind of like them to be a bit worn and old and tattered. So we put down Rakarth Flesh just because it's quite like washed and like kind of a bit old. And then what we're doing now, although it's not actually coming out too well, oh dear, is I normally put a dry brush of Wraithbone over the top. I say dry brush, it's not like a traditional dry brush where I'm just trying to catch edges. It's normally quite heavy, so it looks all like scratchy and old and worn. So actually, to be fair, this side's probably a little bit better because there's more surface for it to rub on. Get in there a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of it's meant to be a bit messy, a bit old, a bit scratchy and worn. However, this side's got a little bit too raised, and I think maybe the dry brush is too big. So what I might do quickly, actually, hold on, let's switch out the dry brushes. Cool, I've just got down to a smaller dry brush, and hopefully we can get into there. Because yeah, like I said, it's not really like a traditional dry brush where we're trying to catch edges. It's almost like we're just trying to put a really thin layer over the top, maybe catch those raised sections a little bit more. Although I think this section here is way too heavily applied. Like I mentioned, this side's a lot better, like to show what I'm trying to get, like the effects. Yeah, there we go. Like a dry washed. There you go. Actually, that's a good example there. It's more like a dried, washed, scratchy layer of paint over the top rather than a smooth gradient. Yeah, there we go. Just try and get some of it, like a lighter amount in the recesses. And then what I did last time I did a sort of Black Templar cloak was I did this sort of layer of like scratchy Wraithbone over the top. And I kind of brought it all in with a wash. And I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. Luckily, though, I document every single thing I paint. So let's go back through the channel and find out. Oh, okay, it was Skeleton Horde. That's what we did. Oh, I forgot about this side. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll just carry on, put some sort of like light, scratchy Wraithbone over the top to give it a bit of wear and tear. And then I'll put a nice thin layer of Skeleton Horde over everything to kind of bring it in and make it a bit more like older, coffee stained, like brown. Right, we're almost there. We've finished up the cape and the backpack and glued them both on. He's looking really cool. The only thing left now is the weapons. Oh, sorry, I've also slapped some stuff on the base. You'll see it in a minute. It's just some fake mud. I've got it somewhere, actually. One second. Let me finish up this contrast layer. Because we just need to do the weapons. So I'm just putting some Flesh Tearers Red on the weapon casing for the plasma pistol. And I'll probably slap this on the handle of the sword as well. Just nice, quick, simple, easy red. But yes, what I did was on the base... I think it's AK something. Yeah, just AK like mud. Literally, I saw it that, and then like some fake like moss, and that's all I do. But yeah, just gonna finish up putting like the reds on the weapons, some silvers on these chains, and then the last, I guess, fancy bit of flair is my Black Templar sword. I layer up a whole bunch of oranges and yellows on top of a red base to make like this molten sword effect. So it looks like the sword is hot and on fire. And it looks really cool. And I do it across all of my like veterans. So like my Sword Bros, Blade Guard veterans, the Marshal, an Ancient. Yeah, just that. But yeah, it's really cool and looks even better in the display cabinet when you like look over and it's like all these cool molten swords like on a sea of black power armor. So, like I mentioned, what we like to do with our Black Templar is a sort of molten hot burning sword effect. So like it's glowing red with like fire and energy. And what we do for that is, well, what you're seeing, we've base coated the sword in Mephiston Red. And then we take a really, really thin coat of Trollslayer Orange. Like, I'm not even sure if it's going to come up on camera. It's so thin. Really water it down into a glaze. Then we just put layers and layers and layers on top of it, building up gradients. But every time we put a layer on it, we start a little bit further down. So just here. There we go. The first layer was like from the tip, and then we just go down a little bit more. And then I should wait for this to dry, but I'm just going to put another layer on so you can see. Just going to wipe the excess off the brush. So yeah, the first one was at the top, and then this one was down here, and the next one a tiny bit further down, just like that. And what will happen then is hopefully the top of the blade will be the bright red, the bottom down here will be like almost pure orange, and then the middle will be like a slow transition. And I guess the most important part of this is just patience. It takes absolutely forever putting on like 10, 15 layers of this like thinned down Trollslayer. And like I mentioned, it does look really cool in like the display cabinet, having all of them with this molten effect. And then once we put all the Trollslayer orange on, we kind of do something similar with Flash Gitz yellow. We mix the Flash Gitz in with the Trollslayer to make like an orangey yellow glow and work out from the middle. And then what we'll do after that, just to finish it off and sell the effect, we'll put some chip damage of like Rhinox Hide, like a nice brown around the edge of the blade, like almost like the heat is cracking the sword. And here he is, our Black Templar Marshal Kitbash. And yeah, do you know what? I'm well happy with how he's turned out. He looks really cool. He looks the part. Has definitely got that Marshal vibe. And I feel like he matches the original Marshal quite well. I've got the dude next to me here. We'll bring him on for a little comparison in a minute. But just a quick 1 minute overview of this guy. To touch on what we just finished, the sword and that glowing molten effect. Definitely a little bit out of practice. It's been a while since I've done it, so maybe I need to do a few more just to get in the rhythm of it. But I don't think it looks too bad, especially like the further back we move it, you know, like an actual tabletop view, it looks all right. But yeah, you'll notice as well I slapped on just a chest shield, a little crest there, like a red and white one, to cover up my horrendous moulding of the millar putt. Oh my god, if I took that guy off, he'd expose all of the horrible armpit and the massive long arm. So yeah, definitely sneaked that on to cover up some of my own mistakes. But overall, really, really happy with this dude. Looks really good overall. I will say the chains, the Green Stuff World like custom chains that we've got for this gun, they look really cool, but they were a little bit of a faff to paint. Like trying to get it all over. They took to the primer well, but then the painting was a bit awkward and hard to get on and get into some of the places. I think I just kind of bundled up too many chains in one place, like really like closely squished them all together. But I do love the look, like the whole like chain wrapped around the hand and the gun is so like Black Templar. And I'm so glad I managed to get that image on the Mini. It looks so, so cool. And yeah, I feel like this is a really fun, enjoyable like painting process. I feel like we got to flex all different range of things we've done. So we did like some glazing on the tabard, which I think has turned out quite well. We did some sponging on the cape, so got out the makeup sponge to like layer up some like bright colours. And then we also did like quite a bit of edge highlighting over all of the armour. So a nice array of painting techniques to like kind of practice. And also it was just really nice to come back to the Black Templar. I forgot how much I enjoy painting all these cool black armours. But yeah, let me go grab the other Marshal and we can do a little bit of a comparison. And here he is next to the official Black Templar Marshal, and I do think he matches really well. Like just the whole image, like at a glance, the whole sword in the air, plasma pistol by the side, a little bit of a tabard on the bottom and like a flowing cloak. Yeah, really, really happy. I think he really fits the part and looks it. Obviously there's some minor things that would have been nice to add on, like the backpack. The backpack on this dude is just the generic one, whereas the actual Marshal's got a huge over-the-top centerpiece banner. I was actually thinking maybe we could take the banner from the Company Heroes Ancient and drill it in, but then I thought, oh, that's a bit OTT. This was just a quick little fun job to like kitbash and make our own. So I think the what we've got now is okay. It's fine. It just would have been nice. And then one real minor thing is that sort of torso. Annoyingly, the official Mini has obviously a full tabard, whereas our dude just has the Aquila and the shoulder pad. I really wish I could have got like a landscape rectangle kind of shoulder pad rather than the normal round ones. Something that would have been like the cherry on top. But I mean, just overall vibe, it definitely captures the Marshal aesthetic with the big fancy gold shoulder pads, the cloak, the sword in the air. But yeah, overall I am super happy with the outcome, both visually and how he looks with the Marshal and how he fits the bill, and also just the paint job. Oh yeah, you know what, it is nice coming back to the Black Templars, coming back to a faction that you started off with, that were your first love and you really enjoy. Like, I've loved playing around with the Red Corsairs and how different the Chaos models are, but I think I've forgotten how much I enjoy Black Templars, man. That just big, black, heavy, grimdark armour, the cool tabards, like the chains. Ah, yeah, they're really, really fun. I forgot how different it is to paint different factions as well. It's not just colours, it's like trim, weapons, iconography, little funny details. It's good. And kit bashing as well. I feel like I need to kit bash a lot more. I definitely think at first I was really worried about it. Like, how do I do it? It seems a bit hard and intimidating. But I do think I've kind of gotten over that little initial slump of anxiety and like concern. And now I'm like, actually, it's a lot easier. You can just shove stuff wherever you want and make use of Milliput and cover up your mistakes with little tilt shields. It's definitely something I want to do more, and it is really, really fun. But as always, thank you for watching. Drop us a like and subscribe, and check out the Discord in the bio and the Patreon. We've got a Patreon set up for the page now, so you can help support the channel, get little things like behind-the-scene pictures, going to be voting on future video ideas coming up soon, and also you get your name in the credits, just like these people, my very first patrons. So massive shout out to you, and I really appreciate the support. So as always, thank you for watching, and tune in next time. Bye!